All right, so the third part to this discussion on how does a good business leader make decisions is this the social responsibility aspect. We talked about the ethics. We will be spending almost the entire term on the policy and law aspect of things. So I want to spend a few minutes talking about the social responsibility aspect of it. What does that mean? Well, social responsibility, in particular in the last 30, 40 years, but most importantly in the past 10 to 15 years, has played a bigger role in business decision making with leaders in companies. For example, um, how do the stakeholders view you from an environmental science standpoint? Meaning, are you an environmentally friendly company? And if so, what are the types of things that you're doing, and why are you? Where are the pressures coming from that you lean towards environmental friendly types of decisions? Recycling paper, investing in environmental agendas, whether it's carbon footprint issues, timber issues, uh, um, and recycling resource issues. There are a number of those types of issues. And then on the other side, you have maybe social agenda issues like how are your company's policies towards same-sex marriage types of privileges? Do you offer benefits to significant others, even if the marriage is not, the relationship is not a legal marriage, so to speak? There are a number of these types. Do you recognize um, um, gender issues? How do you treat gender issues within your employees? So there's an enormous amount of pressure put on business leaders nowadays, and not necessarily to make the right decisions, but to make decisions that support their agenda. And these organizations now have an enormous amount of influence, either via lobbying efforts to impact laws, public relations, strategies as to changing or selling their particular view as to how companies should treat their stakeholders or people in general. So there's enormous amounts of pressures on business leaders nowadays to figure out how do you weigh that into a decision making. And I mentioned the Ford case, but it's an important case where the court said if the officers of a company invest money into an issue that's not profit generating, that they could potentially subject themselves to a lawsuit from the shareholders, because the shareholders are only concerned with profitability. Um, and so you have a lot of pressures pushing you in multiple directions, and usually trying to find the answer that pushes profitability, and also addresses whatever social responsibility behavior that you and your company are endorsing, and how it impacts, if it impacts positively on your employees and your ability to sell your service or product. Very tough stuff. This is not easy stuff by any means. In some ways, in the old days, it was better because it was just about making money. But now you have to make money, and you have to make money in a certain way. So important topics. We could spend an entire semester just talking about corporate social responsibility. You will touch on this topic in many other courses, and we will touch on it a couple more times throughout this course as we go through different issues. But the important thing is that you have to have understanding of ethics, you have to have understanding of law and public policy and regulations, you have to have understanding of the social justice issues that are dealing with corporations nowadays. You have to understanding of all the stakeholders involved, and trying to navigate those decisions is and coming up with the best possible answer is usually where you land. Now, if you adopt a particular ethical value, you're going to minimize some of these other issues that I talked and emphasize others. But that, as a business leader, those are the prerogatives that you take, and it will impact all the stakeholders. So it deserves some thought and analysis, and it will certainly change as you get more in depth into your studies and application into the field. All right, I'm going to stop this topic now, and